Hignet's corner, beyond Bent. Janssen! And Blackburn Rovers are 18 minutes away from a Premiership return.
As far as Stewart, just outside the penalty area, clips it central for David Dunn. David Dunn equalises! It just had to be. Dack's corner and it goes. Glance towards goal! And Rovers have taken the lead! And Charlie Mulgrew has scored his 14th of the season. It may well be the goal that sends Rovers back into the championship.
Good evening, Rovers fans, and welcome to a special live edition of the 1875 podcast. Live with me, Ryan Hildred from Rovers Chat. Euro 2020 has taken the focus recently, but with a couple of break days and the Rovers fixtures announced today, we can turn our attentions back onto all things Rovers with this really special live show. And I'm absolutely delighted to introduce Elliott Bennett onto the show today as we reflect on his 5.5 years at Rovers, which is sadly now an end, but 200 plus appearances, a League One promotion, and former club captain as well. So how are you today, Benno? You know, you've got great credentials with Rovers there.
No, yeah, brilliant. As I said in my tweets and stuff, I had a fantastic 5.5 years at the club, and you know, as I said, it's all good things must come to an end. And you know, obviously, unfortunately, it was this season with having no fans in, which it would have been nice for myself to have said goodbye properly. But I'm sure we can catch up on another occasion.
We can, and actually I was going to say that at the end, we're gutted that we can't applaud you off the pitch at Ewood Park with this damn pandemic. So, that's the first thing I'll say. We would have absolutely loved to have done that as well, Benno, and said goodbye as well. So that is a sentiment very much shared. Rovers fans, as this one is live, please do get your comments and questions in for Benno tonight. I'll pick some of these off as we go. It'll be about 45 minutes to an hour for the show, so get the comments in and we'll pick them up as we go. And an edited version of this podcast will be available on iTunes and Spotify from about Friday tea time, so you can look forward to that one as well. So, Benno, let's get started. I'm going to just run through your time at the club in order as best as I can with a few questions. And then there's a little bonus quickfire questions section as well for you to look forward to, where it'll just be the first thing that comes to your head on that one. So no thinking too much. So we'll see how we get on with that. So I just want to start with when you signed for us, Benno. So, the state of the club at the time, you signed for us in January 2016, and it was Paul Lambert who signed you for Rovers. And a lot of Rovers fans, when Lambert was appointed as Rovers manager, were quite excited by his appointment, actually, especially with those achievements that he had at Norwich City. And didn't turn out like that for us. But you played under him at Norwich, I believe. So what was the feeling like in the club at the time when you signed? What was discussed with you? Was it about promotion? What attracted you to Rovers ultimately?
Yeah, so when I first got the phone call off Paul Lambert, obviously, I'd worked with him. He took me from League One at Brighton to the Premier League with Norwich, which, was a massive, massive thing for myself. And I'll be forever grateful for him for that. And then, as it's turned out, he's given me the opportunity to spend my longest, playing time at a club in coming to Blackburn. So, yeah, he just spoke about his plans for the club. He wanted to try and, emulate what we'd done at Norwich. And as you said, unfortunately, it didn't last, long enough to kind of get into something like that. But yeah, I'm grateful he brought me to Blackburn Rovers, and obviously everything happens for a reason, and things kind of changed then, and the club was a little bit different to what it is now, really, to be honest. When I first came in, obviously I didn't really know many players. I didn't know too much about anything, to be honest. And then obviously the longer you're at a club, you start to see what's going on, and going on behind the scenes in the dressing room. And, all I can say is now the football club's in a much happier, I'd say, place, completely different place within the dressing room, especially. And I think the connection with the supporters, because obviously when I first came, there was a lot of animosity towards the owners, and, there was regular chants at games of, getting the owners out of the club. And, since the gaffers come in, Tony Mowbray, not heard them at all, really. I think the connection's really back between the football club and the fans, and that's a really, really important thing.
Yeah, it is. And I don't mind admitting to you, Benno, that the next manager that followed Lambert, I'll never forgive the club for appointing Owen Coyle, really. That was probably the lowest I felt as a Rovers fan, actually, when we appointed him as manager, and just the whole connection to the club at that point. A real kick in the teeth for a lot of fans, actually, appointing him. And as I say, that disconnection was really strong for me and a lot of fans at that point. So what was it like for you playing under Coyle, both personally and just the squad as well? What vibes did you have from the squad playing under that manager?
Do you know what? Look, he's not a bad person. He's a really, really nice man. We used to always say, like, as an assistant manager, he'd be incredible. Obviously he's had success at other clubs. But yeah, it wasn't. I didn't enjoy it. First off, I wasn't playing. I couldn't never understand the reasons why I wasn't playing. I was getting a lot of different excuses. And the form of the team was really, really bad. The kind of feeling within the camp wasn't great either. It was kind of, we were in a really bad position, really, for the quality of players we had in the squad. And nothing really changed. We didn't change the training. We didn't, we were kind of trying our best to, it's hard to explain, make the best of the situation that we had. And I felt at the time we needed a bit more than what we were getting from the training. Ultimately, managers do things different ways, but at the end of it, they all live and die by, kind of what they do. And I can't knock the man. He's got a way of working. He picks the players he picks, and if you're successful with that, you get all the plaudits. And if you're not, then you lose your job. And thankfully for me, and my Blackburn career, the timing kind of was good in terms of personally, and probably a bit too late in terms of the club's, actions on it. Because I think if Tony Mowbray would have been in charge for 10 more games. No, forget 10 games. 5 games, 2 games, 1 more game. We wouldn't have gone down that year. But looking back on it in hindsight, maybe that was just what the club needed to kind of reset, refresh. And, the success of the League One campaign really, really brought the club and the fans back together.
Yeah, and as you say, Mowbray came in and sadly it wasn't enough to keep us up. But one thing I'll say, Benno, is a lot of fans are really grateful to the likes of yourself, Charlie Mulgrew, Danny Graham, all for sticking around for that League One season. And I just want to ask you a couple of things, if I can here. Did you have any offers to leave Rovers, when we got relegated? Could you have left?
Yeah, I could have gone to QPR. That came up when we were actually on pre-season I think we were in Austria. Got the phone call and stuff to say, what did I think? And to be honest, after speaking to the gaffer for 2 minutes, it was never something that I tried to pursue. I believed in everything the gaffer was trying to do. A lot of the lads stayed around, and to be honest, I felt like the lads that were still at the club, from being relegated, we kind of owed the football club, the manager and the supporters kind of our time and our dedication in making sure the club got back to the Championship. Because, make no bones about it, Blackburn being in the Championship is not good enough for a club of the stature of Blackburn. Blackburn in League One is unthinkable. And, we were part of that, whether we played a lot of games or we didn't really play. It makes no difference when you're in a team. We were part of a team that got relegated, and that wasn't good enough. And as I said before, I think it was unfortunate that Tony Mowbray didn't come in a bit earlier, but it was what it was. And I'm really happy that all the lads stuck together really and saw it through.
And you've just really touched on the second thing I was going to ask, but, we could just elaborate on that. So do you really put that down to Mowbray and maybe, him as that working class man, that working class background that really got you all together as that group to say, look, this club needs to get back at the first bounce? Was it Mowbray who was key to you all sticking around?
Yeah, definitely. I think when he came in, we saw the results just completely change. The mood within the dressing room changed. around the training ground. Everything just felt a bit more, we've got a plan here, this is what we're going to do. And, but for, a couple of dubious things happening in other games at the end of that championship season, we would have stayed up. But it wasn't to be. And I think with everything that the manager had shown in that short period of time he came in the back end of that season, was enough for everyone in the building to say, look, like this manager can get the job done, and it proved to be.
Absolutely. Well, this is going to be my first dip into the comments, Benno. So a lot of sentiment for you in the comments. Ben, the boss here, thank you for all you did for Rovers. We'll miss you. Wish you the very best. Thanks for all the great goals and hard work you gave us. Dwyer 18, some boy Benno, El Scotty, hello Ryan, hello Benno, Mark Whittle, legend Benno, Savio, love you Benno. So lots of sentiment in the comments there.
Lovely.
But I'm going to pick a couple of questions that I've had. So I've got to talk about topic of, well, the month really. Forget England. What do you think of Brereton Mania? I mean, what do you make of all this, Benno?
I absolutely love it. Honestly, what a good kid he is. He is one of the thickest people I've ever come across. And I genuinely think my 4-year-olds are smarter, but what a lovely boy. He's been, breath of fresh air. Like just his innocence, really. Obviously, came with a big price tag, which I think, didn't help him really. But it's not his fault. I think when you're a young boy and you get bought for that much money, there's a lot of expectation that goes on your shoulders. And I think the club were buying potential, and we're now seeing that potential flourish, which is, fantastic for Ben and fantastic for the football club. He's come on leaps and bounds, and I think confidence is a massive part of that. I think you've seen this season how good he's been, and then obviously to get the call up for Chile and be doing what he's doing in the Copa America is incredible. And I know from my point of view and the lads, I'm still in the group chat with all the boys, and every time he starts or when he got called up, everyone's just going mad really, and everyone's just so pleased for him because he's, not one person in that dressing room could say a bad word about him because he's such a good kid really. And I wish him every success moving forward as well.
Please tell me that Wonderwall video is in your group chat of him doing his initiation song.
It's not, because that is probably the best thing I've seen him do, to be honest, because everything else he does is terrible. I've got some stories about him. Like when he first came, this is a quick one. People are like this. So we went on a Christmas do to London, and everyone was like, right, let's stitch him up. So everyone chatting behind his back. Let's stitch him up. He fall for anything. So we said, right, everyone said to him, everyone's wearing a white suit. You've got to be dressed in all white. We're all doing that for a night out. So obviously everyone's in on it, and everyone's like, and even Danny Graham's gone out and bought like a suit off ASOS or something. Got his suit carrier, showing him like, yeah, look, this is mine, just to keep it going with him. We all get into the bar. We all said, all right, everyone down at the bar at 8 o'clock. Say, we all get down there at 7:45. Everyone's ready. Everyone's got their cameras out. He walks in a white suit. No one else is in it.
Oh, brilliant!
But do you know what? Instead of like doing what most people would have done, going back up to the room, getting changed, he ran with it. And to be fair, he looked better than everyone. So he did well.
Oh, fantastic. Well, as you say, what a lovely lad he appears to be for, Rovers fans looking in. So he absolutely deserves all of that. And then just another quick question, because kind of segues nicely into this, Benno. So all the talk's been about Adam Armstrong in this summer. Maybe it's Ben Brio who might be the one who gets the move. But Dave Lunt asks here, how good is Armstrong, in your opinion? Could he play in the Premier League?
Undoubtedly. Outstanding. Only word I can describe him, outstanding. He has everything. He's fast. He's good with his feet. He can score off both feet. His finishing is one of the best I've ever seen, to be honest. And again, what a great boy. Obviously had an unbelievable season last year in his preferred position. I think a lot of his goals before were cutting in and spectacular world-class goals, and now he's took his game to a whole new level, playing down the middle, scores all types of goals, handful for defenders, and every accolade that he's got this season, team of the year and all that, he fully deserves. And yeah, the question of the Premier League's no problem whatsoever. Definitely.
Yeah, he does seem like a nice lad, and we've said on this channel before, he doesn't seem like someone who would push for the move. He's just a nice lad. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and he'll just carry on with his football. That's certainly how it appears to us as fans.
Oh, that's exactly how he is. He doesn't get caught up in the hype and hysteria. You know, even when he scored a hat trick, I'm like on the side, come in. I'm so happy for him, jumping all over him, saying, "Oh, I'm like, wow!" And he's just like, "Oh, Benno," like trying to like play it down a bit. And every time I'm like, "Oh, you're some man, you're on fire," and it's like, "Nah, Benno, you're the man." I mean, he doesn't want to like take the thing, and you know that's I think that's another thing that's what's gonna take him far. You know, he's very humble, works hard every day, he doesn't miss training. You know, it's easy when players are doing really well just to, "Oh, I'm a bit tight today," miss training. He's out there every day. He's out there doing his extras, he's finishing, and you know it's all coming to fruition really in what he's doing on the football pitch.
Definitely. Well, fingers crossed we can keep him. It's probably hope more than expectation, but fingers crossed for Rovers. We definitely want him next season. So, Benno, going to go back into the questions then, and we'll start to talk about happier times rather than Owen Coyle and relegation and obviously the League One promotion season. And you said it earlier, you know, and I've got it in my notes here that, you know, relegation can weirdly help clubs if you can refresh the squad a little bit. And if I think about the group of players that we had in yourself, Mulgrew, Conway, Graham, Raya, Lenihan, and then signing players like Smallwood and Dak in particular, it just seemed a really good team spirit. So how enjoyable was that season for you? And were you always confident in promotion, particularly when we were signing players like Smallwood and Dak?
Yeah, definitely. You know, the squad we had was outstanding, really, especially for the level. But straight away, I think the gaffer didn't just sign good players; he signed good characters, good people. You know, Richie Smallwood, what a man! I mean, everyone loved him within the group. He set standards every day in training. Never late, always on the training pitch first. Worked his socks off, and then on a Saturday would like tackle his nan. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of player he wasn't. I think that's what we kind of needed. We needed someone like him to come in, and then you got Daki, who's what a talented footballer he is. I mean, you know, such a shame he's injured, but you know, when he came in, blew my mind, to be honest. That, you know, this boy hadn't been playing Championship for a hell of a lot longer than he had, you know, and you know, a great signing by the gaffer and the club, and the team spirit in that group was one of the best dressing rooms I've been in. I've got to be honest. Everyone fighting in the right direction, even players not playing, everyone wanting everyone else to do well, keeping the training standards high to make sure that, you know, everyone who was in the team, you know, had to work just as hard to stay in the team. And, you know, obviously the first 2 games didn't go as planned. You know, I always say we only played 44 games that season, but it took a couple of. I think it took us a couple of games to realise it wasn't just a case of being, you know, a team full of good players. We had to, first of all, we had to show the opposition respect, work as hard as them, and then, you know, our quality came through. And I think the gaffer kind of summed it up. He used to always talk about artists and soldiers, and he said, you know, he used to always say, even if you're an artist, you've got to work hard, and then kind of, you know, let the soldiers do what they do, and then the artists go and paint the pictures. And, you know, I think we had a really good blend that year, and it all worked out well.
I think you're absolutely right about the whole squad effort. You know, that third game that you speak about, you know, the Bradford away game, you know, that's Dominic Samuel getting the winner, isn't it? And he didn't get many goals that season, but I think I'm right in saying that he contributed like 6, 7, 8 points, which was really crucial. Players like Paul Downing that obviously filled in for Darragh Lenihan, you know, Marcus Antonsen, who I think didn't score past December. You know, it was a whole squad contribution, wasn't it?
Yeah, massively. And I think we had the likes of Jack Payne, who would obviously kept coming, you know, was in and out, but contributed when he played. You said there, Paul Downing came in and was, I think he had like the most clean sheets I've ever seen, to be honest, like in a row. Yeah, it was definitely a squad game. And I think, as you said there, the Bradford game, I'm sure we got in a huddle at the end of the game, and you know, 3 games into a season, we won 1-0 away at Bradford, and we were kind of like all together there. And I think that's when we all kind of said, really, this is the time now. We've got to go from here, and I think what we did after that was pretty outstanding, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. And, as a fan that season, it was just amazing, Benno. I was up and down the country supporting Rovers in that division. And as, I spoke about the disconnect that I had under Owen Coyle, I think a lot of people felt reconnected to the club again in that season. Just a really likeable group of players and that really honest manager. One feature of that, though, and we've got to talk about it, is the Benno fist pump. Where did that come from?
I have no idea. Honestly, I've been asked this a few times, and I genuinely don't know. I might have done it once with just an outpour of emotion, really, and then it kept going and going, and then people were kind of saying, "Oh, you need to see the fist pump," and I'm thinking, "Did I do that?" And then I'm seeing a video, and I'm like, while it's working and making people happy, just keep doing it. And I got to do it a lot that season, which was great. Enjoyed that, and it was just something that I ended up just doing just for more because I think people kind of enjoyed it, really, and it was just kind of a bit of, like I said before, connection back with the fans. And it's only a small gesture, and as you said there, you travelled up and down the country supporting us, and that can never go never goes unnoticed within dressing rooms. I think football's kind of getting to see what fans bring to the game, and I'm just hoping there's no more fake commentary for Sky Sports next year, because I've not enjoyed that one bit.
The one thing that we do want to take issue with, though, why did you go and lose 2-0 away at Plymouth when we all travelled down there? Could you not have just saved that for somewhere else? We all went down there. I think there was 1,000 of us. I just laughed.
I think that was the back of was that when we lost our 30-odd game?
It was unbeaten? It was a really long unbeaten run, and I was just like, Plymouth of all places. Why are you losing it at Plymouth?
I know it's not great for the fans, but that was a bad. that was a really, really bad day. I think that was up there with one of the worst performances we had all season, to be honest.
I jest though. You got the job done in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to talk about you in this season, though, Benno, I think this was a season where you did really emerge as that trusted and important player for Mowbray. And I think you must have played like 4 or 5 positions in that season. But I want to just single out a couple of games in the season, if I can. They might appear quite random, so stick with me.
Yeah.
The first is Shrewsbury at home in January. That was a massive game in the context of the season. We were still behind Shrewsbury at that point. And I think a few injuries meant that you played in centre mid with Richie Smallwood. And I thought you were both absolutely outstanding in that game. And we obviously won 3-1. Have you always been a player that will just play anywhere? And where would you say is your best or most preferred position?
You put me on the spot here. Look, I just love playing football. I think, as a kid, all you ever want to do is play football. And, it's like when you're a young lad, everyone puts their hand up. Who's the strikers? And everyone's a striker. I've just always loved just playing football, and to be honest, I appreciate how lucky I am to have lived the dream that most people would like. All football fans would love to do, and I think I got a lot of trust from Tony Mowbray. I trusted him, and he trusted me, and when you trust someone and they need you to do a job, I was happy to do it. And as I said before, I just love playing football. I'm not great at watching. I do my best to support, obviously, the lads, but I much prefer being out there, rolling my sleeves up and getting stuck in. So, that season required me to play in different positions. And I think, some people might say it's hindered me, not having a settled position. But to be honest, I feel like it's it's helped me a lot, really, because I've played a lot more games maybe than I would have done if I was pigeonholed in one position. And I'm probably a jack of all trades and master of none kind of person. So it is what it is. Like I said before, I've said it to the manager. I know I love playing under Tony Mowbray, and wherever he needed me, I'd have done it. And I even opted to try and go in goal at that West Brom game, but Richie's legs were a bit more tired than mine, so he got the nod.
Well, that one's certainly in Rovers folklore, that's for sure. Lots of memes and everything going around of Richie Smallwood after that game, so that was a good one. And then the second game I want to single out, this is random, but you'll see why I've done it in a moment, is Wimbledon away. Now, that was the night of Beast from the East, and I was at that game, and the first thing I want to say is hats off to Wimbledon for getting that game on, because I think every other Football League club cancelled their games, and it was bloody freezing that night. I've picked this game, though, as it was your first goal of the season, and you could really see the relief on your face when you scored it, and you were obviously an important player in that season. As a player, how harshly do you judge yourself on goals or assists? Because I think it was only the 2 you got in that season, and obviously a really important player outside of goals and assists.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I used to pin everything on it. It was my be-all and end-all. You know, and I was, you know, fortunate enough as I was young, when I was younger at Brighton to score quite a few, and I got quite a lot of assists as well, which ultimately got me my move to Norwich. But then I think that as I've got older, I've kind of gone more to football's about a team, you know, and when the team wins, everyone in that team wins. You know, every individual wins. You know, I'd rather be in a team that does well, and I don't get as great, you know, goals or assists myself, but you know, rather than being a team that doesn't do very well, scores loads of goals and gets loads of assists. And obviously, everyone says that, oh, how great you are. But at the end of it, you don't win nothing without your teammates. You don't win nothing without a team. Football's a team game. And, you know, as I've got older, I've kind of just let that kind of stuff go. That doesn't define who you are or what you can achieve. And as I said before, the team's the most important thing. And, you know, the relief that night was massive because I'd come close quite a few times, missed quite a few good chances as well. And, you know, it's always good to, you know, kind of to get a goal. And as you said there, it was a freezing cold night. And I think I was just jumping up in the air more so to keep myself warm, because it was how that game stayed on. I'll never know, because even we were saying to the ref, no extra time, no stoppage time, get finished. If you got to blow up at 80, blow up, because it was so hot. The ground was so hard.
Well, I don't know if you remember where the away terrace was there. We were really close to the pitch, and I was looking at that, as you say, 3-0 up, 8 minutes to go, and I was looking at the bit of pitch in front of me, and I was like, oh man, you know, it was glistening, it was frozen, and I was really anxious about it getting called off. But is that the coldest you've ever played in a game?
Yeah, definitely.
It was nonsense.
That's the right word for it, nonsense. No outdoor activity should be allowed to be done in that weather.
No, just
none whatsoever.
I just remember being so cold, and at least we won that one. It wasn't like Plymouth. So if I have to choose Plymouth or Wimbledon, at least you won the Wimbledon one, because that would have just been an absolute nonsense.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm going to dip back into the questions then, Benno, before we do this quick fire round. So let's have a look. A couple have asked this, so let's put you on the spot with it. So Gaz Israel has asked, when your career does come to an end, do you plan on remaining in football, coaching, management? And then someone else has asked it. I want to make sure that they also get their... Whilst you're talking, I'll bring up the comments so they get their... So what's your thoughts about?
Yeah, I'd like to remain in football. I'm not sure in what capacity, to be honest. You know, I love football. It's all I've ever known, to be honest. I love talking about it. I love being a part of it. I've not thought too hard into the coaching management things. I think sometimes it's, you know, I'm gonna do all my badges, so I've got them. But no, I'm not gonna chase something that, you know, I've like I said before, I've been so fortunate to be a footballer, and you know, for all the coaches and managers out there, you know, it can be a very hard job, but you know, again, how fortunate to be involved in something that you love, and so many other people do. Yeah, I'd love to be involved in football. I don't know, as I said before, I don't know what capacity, whether it's a coach, manager, or you know, helping players or sporting direct, something like that. I think, you know, I'd love to kind of maybe explore that side of it as well. I think you know, a sporting director or something like that, I think they're becoming a lot more popular in football now, and you know, a lot of them are done by, you know, people that haven't played football, that's not to discredit them, because there's some fantastic ones out there. But I think if you can get people that have played football and understand kind of business and the other side of it as well, I think that can be, you know, that could maybe be beneficial to clubs. I did think about a referee, but
that would be that'd be quite interesting.
Nah, the amount of stick I've given them over the years, there's no way. There's no way.
Just on the sporting director stuff, Shane Jeffries has put it here, Agent Bennett, and I'm sure others have said it in the comments. I'm really sorry. The comments are coming in thick and fast, so apologies those of you that I'm not spotting your names. You've obviously played a role in Bradley Johnson is one that springs to mind. Just talk us through what actually happens in the Agent Bennett scenarios. Are you texting him? Are you winding him up? What role are you playing there?
Nah, it's like with the Jono one, it was kind of me and John have been really close for a long time since we were at Norwich. The manager spoke to me about him, and I gave him a glowing reference, and then just called him really and said, look, like, just make sure you answer the phone to this number. Get your agent to speak to him, and it was that quick, really. It was that really, honestly, that simple, and it was great to have Jono sign for us, and I've enjoyed my last couple of years, back with him and sharing the car journey, which has been nice.
Excellent. So let's go into this quick fire round then, Benno. So don't think about this too much. These are all just for Rovers, so not through your career, so just with Rovers. And they have appeared in the comments as well. So thank you for those of you that have also asked them. You're on the same wavelength as me. So we'll start with your favourite or best goal for Rovers.
Blackpool home.
Blackpool. Okay. I remember that one. Your best performance?
Shrewsbury at home.
Your favourite game?
Doncaster away.
The best player that you've played with?
Armour. Yeah, Armour. Oh. That's harsh on Daki.
I hope he's not watching.
It's hard between them two, completely different as well. Oh.
Well, we'll maybe revisit.
Yeah.
We'll say Jackie/Armour at the moment. We'll press you, though. We'll press you. The hardest trainer that you've played with?
That's easy. Dara.
Lenihan.
That guy, honestly, he is made out of rocks, that boy.
And is he like just completely on it all the time? Really good trainer? Yeah.
All the time.
Love it.
All the time.
Love it. One thing I'll say about Dara, actually, I've been quite critical. I'll be honest with you, I've been quite critical of him on this channel at times because I want to see more leadership. I want to see him as the one who's like rallying everyone. Do you think that'll come out of him next season? I want to just see that proper skipper's leader's performance. I think we need a bit more from Dara in that sense.
I think it will, yeah. I think, the club's lost quite a few experienced players now. And, the younger lads will all have to step up. And Dara's the leader of all them younger players. Played so many games for such a young player, especially at centre-half. You don't get that too often. Dara will flourish. I've got no doubt about that. And, I think the experience of last year, him, taking the, captaining the team on, for the whole season, really. And, kind of the difficulties of, some of the parts of the games where, we didn't win for quite a long period and things like that. I think that's only going to benefit, it's not nice when it's happening, but I think it's going to benefit the young players. I was speaking to someone the other day about it. We had a lot of young players last year, and as fantastic as they all are, you like Harvey Elliott, your Buccos, Rankin Costello, Trav, he's played a lot of games, Trav, but he's still a young lad. A lot of these young players haven't experienced, tough times in a professional environment. Yeah. And I think the next year the lads will thrive off the fact that if anything like that happens again, you get a couple of results that don't go your way, they'll know how to dig themselves out of that hole. They know how to get out of it. And I think as much as it was disappointing last season to maybe finish where we finished, I think the growth that you'll see in them younger players from that experience is only going to benefit the football club moving forward.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I said it about Dara, because I know he's got it there. I know he's got that in his locker. I know it will come out. And if you're saying he's the hardest trainer, then hopefully, as you say, you can just flourish next season, because I know it's there. I do.
Yeah, no, 100%.
The funniest player that you've played with at Rovers?
Oh, there's two really good ones. Charlie Mulgrew's so funny. He's got some of the best stories I've ever heard. But
and you can share?
they're not even. They're just so made up. Like he makes out that they're real. I can't even. Some of them are. I honestly sat here now. I can't even remember some of them because they're so far fetched. The funniest though is Craig Conway. What a man he is! That guy, like what a man! What a servant to the club.
Definitely
Massive part of the dressing room. Another player that we missed in the dressing room when he left. Big hole to fill really. He'd been at Blackburn for a long time. Been through all sorts of different times, and funniest guy by a mile. Yeah, great guy.
He's another who it's a shame we didn't get to say goodbye to him properly because of the pandemic. So hopefully, I don't know how it would be possible, but it would be nice if there is a way of just saying, thanks to the like yourself and Craig Conway and Charlie as well. So I probably know the answer to this, but it might be split in two based on he didn't sign straight away. So biggest pal at the club, who did you room with?
But when I first came?
Yeah, because it's probably Jono in the end, isn't it? So who was it?
We don't really room. Not many players room together anymore. It's more like the young players. They'll room together, like playing PlayStation and all that stuff that us old guys don't do anymore. I never really. Obviously, I'd say Jono's my best pal, to be honest. From my time at the club, but then before Jono came, really close with Danny Graham, Daki, Richie Smallwood. I'm one of them. I'll just try and get on with everyone, to be honest. But yeah, I'd say them. They were the players that I was closest to, and then when I first signed, before all they came, Richie and them lot, it was I was quite close with Hope Akpan.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he helped me a lot when I first came in, so yeah.
And then two more, one that I had pre-prepared and one that's just made me laugh in the comments. So we'll do the funny one at the end. Can England win the Euros?
Yeah, everyone's still in it. Well, not everyone. They can win it. Do I think they will? No. I'd love them to. I think what a massive list for this country it'd be if they were to win it. I think obviously everyone's been through a tough 17, 18 months, whatever it is now. And that would be, magnificent. It's been a long time coming. But I think that there are a couple of teams that look a little bit like they've got a bit more at this moment in time. But, I'm hoping to be surprised. And to be honest, I think finishing on that side of the draws gives us the best chance possible anyway. Definitely.
It's all on that Germany game, isn't it? It's history making for many reasons. So we'll see. I'm not very confident, but we'll see. And then the one that made me chuckle, Chris, he's always in the comments making me laugh. Do you not fancy a role in Olivia Meets a Match?
Absolutely no chance. No chance.
How's that gone down in the squad, just in doing that and getting involved?
Nah, he got a bit of stick at the beginning, but he's had a bit of stick, to be fair, from the start. When he first signed, we were all away on pre-season. He was talking about, we were watching Love Island. He's like, seeing this girl, and she's gone on Love Island. And we're all like, you talking nonsense. There's no way. There's nothing. There's no part of that girl that's anything to do with you. He was like, no, I promise. And then obviously it all came out. She came out, and they were getting together, and we were all a bit like eating humble pie, a bit like saying, "Oh, sorry, we were wrong." And then, he's had a lot of stick from everything about it, to be honest. But look, like it's his fiance now, and I wish them both, all the happiness. To be honest, I think she's been good for him as well. Despite him obviously appearing on TV a bit more and stuff, now he's he's calmed down a lot. His focus is fully on football and his starting a family, I'm guessing, with his wife to be, and I think that's only going to benefit him.
I don't mind admitting that I have watched it, Benno, but it's actually been nice to just see him just as a person, and you can see how much he loves football and how hard he's worked to get back, and to see him come back, obviously, from the first injury through that show. It was just really nice to see how hard he was working. So on a genuine note, it's been nice to just see him whilst he's not on the football pitch. Yeah,
I think it's been good for him in that way. Get to, a lot of the time you don't get to see what players are like, behind the scenes or off the pitch. And, I've not watched it personally. I've watched a couple of them, but just at the start, just to show a bit of support to him. And everyone I know that has watched it have said nothing but good things about him.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll just take one more from the comments, and then we'll do some right at the very end as well. So keep the comments coming in, everyone. This one, so Benno, what I will say is you always take the time to interact with fans, and I think you always put yourself in that spotlight. And obviously, I've seen certain discussions / arguments or whatever going on. Does it affect you as a player, and have you seen it affect other players as well when stuff's been going on Twitter or Instagram or wherever?
Yeah, it definitely affects players. Like, people are lying if they say it doesn't affect them. For me personally, I'm not biggest critic. Even if I've been told about a good game, there's things I'm not happy with. So anything I kind of see, it's not something I haven't already probably thought about myself. Sometimes it don't get me wrong, sometimes it hurts, you know what I mean, when people say, oh, especially when you lose a game, and where was the passion, where's the pride? And I think, don't throw anything at me, tell me I'm rubbish at football. I can take that, but I like to think of myself as someone who leaves everything out there. Sometimes it's good enough, sometimes it's not. That's football. But yeah, I think it does definitely affect players. I've just always been one of them people, like, I'm honest. I don't like this whole people that are on. Listen, if you don't like it as well, just don't be on it. That's the simplest way. You're not going to see it if you're not on it. If you don't like it, just stay off it. You don't need it in your life. For me, I like interacting with people about all sorts of things, talking about everything really. I just like to talk, as you probably gathered during this.
It's been great. Don't worry.
Look, like, I don't like the people that are on Twitter or players that are on Twitter and you win a game and everyone's like, oh, great 3 points, great fans, thank you, and all that. And then you don't win for a couple of games and there's nothing to be, you don't see anything, or we just roll, oh, let's go again next week and all that. Like, it's just not real. I like to be honest, open. And, sometimes I get into, as you said there, arguments. I don't like to call it argument. I've just got an opinion and someone else got an opinion, and I'll never try and, take away anyone's opinion. Like, that's what makes football great. That's what makes life great. We live in a, semi-free society at the minute. Hopefully be free soon. But, everyone's entitled to an opinion, and I like interacting with all kinds of different opinions. Sometimes they're, positive for me, and sometimes they're negative. But, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, after I've said what I've got to say and people have said what they've got to say to me, we all live life and wake up the next day and it's a new day and we start again.
Absolutely. Amen to that, most certainly. So if we move into the final section then, Benno, just want to talk about last season and obviously the future and things. So a couple of seasons for Rovers consolidating in the Championship. It felt like last season we were really set up for a playoff push. Some people may have thought that, some people may not, but it felt like we were just set up for, certainly top half / playoff push. Some real good squad depth, some optimism in the fan base. But that run from February onwards, it really killed us, just 4 wins in the final 20 games. So how disappointed were the squad and you personally with that finish for Rovers in the end after, that pre-season optimism? Yeah,
massively disappointed. We had a fantastic squad of players, as you said there, real depth in the squad. Unfortunately, we got quite a few injuries last season, but so did a lot of teams. I think the whole schedule was very rushed. The pre-season, we didn't have one really to speak of. But you can't make excuses because other teams managed to deal with it and get themselves in the top 6, and teams that were no better than us. Look, when you don't achieve what you set out to achieve, like I wanted to, imagine that, sat here now, imagine thinking, we got promoted to Premier League in my final season at Blackburn, like what an honour that would have been. I'd have loved nothing more to have signed off on that note, to be honest, but it wasn't to be. And I think, as I said earlier in the thing, we had a lot of young players that have never experienced anything other than success. And when hard times comes, if you don't know how to, handle and get over hard times, you only understand and learn from that happening to you. And I think, as I said before, I think the group of players there now will have learned a lot from last season and, know how to deal with it moving forward. But, ultimately last season, we failed from what we wanted to achieve. I think the manager was quite clear in what he set out, what we wanted to do. And as you said there, up to February, it was all looking, really good. The team were playing some magnificent football, and then, as you said there, a really, really bad run cost us a tilt at the playoffs, and kind of took away a lot of good stuff that happened in the season. I think, if you start that way and then you end as the way we started, everyone had been saying, "Oh, wow, if only we'd started better." But what a fantastic season! I think a lot of the time when you end bad, it kind of leaves a sour note. Whereas if you kind of do it the other way around, it people keep that optimism going into a new season. And as I said before, I think the performance level of the team in a lot of games was really, really high. Some of the football we played was, obviously I wasn't playing a lot last year, but to watch some of the football we played last year was some of the best. Well, no, the best I've seen since I've been at Blackburn. But it's about doing it over 46 games, and unfortunately, we didn't manage to do that last season.
No, so I agree with you on the football. I saw us have possession of the football away from home, in particular, the most I've ever seen it really as a fan. So definitely the shoots were there for, that style of football. It just wasn't enough to get the results, was it? But I agree with you that at times it was really nice to watch. And when we're on it. But as you say, just over the whole season, it wasn't meant to be. And just for you, Benno, I know you had the ankle injury at the start of last season, but how disappointed were you that it was just the 9 appearances that you were able to make, particularly with the form dipping as it was?
Yeah, of course, I was disappointed. As I said earlier on, I love playing football. I want to play every game. Obviously, the ankle injury didn't help me, and I was out for 3 months with that. But then, obviously, it's one of them really. Like I'm just disappointed. I was disappointed I didn't make more appearances, but then I have to look at myself as well, because the games that I did kind of come into, I didn't do well enough, and the team ultimately lost the 2 games I started in. So I can only look at myself. If I'd have been a part of a team that would have won the games I played, and we played really well, then I don't doubt for 1 second that the manager would have, he would have left me in 100%, kept the team rolling. But I couldn't have been. I wasn't part of a positive impact, unfortunately, and I played as many games as I deserved to play. If I look back at it, really, I think as I said before, the injury, I would have played a lot more games if it wasn't for the injury, especially as it was over the Christmas period, which is generally a lot busier. But look, I didn't play well enough when I got the opportunity to, and I played 9 games because that's all I deserve to play, if I'm honest.
Yeah, well, it's that type of honesty that the fans always appreciate from you, Benno. So thank you for that. And with players like yourself now, obviously, Charlie Mulgrew gone, important loan players in Harwood Bellis and Harvey Elliott probably not coming back, plus this ongoing uncertainty over Adam Armstrong, it does have the feel of a transition season again for Rovers. Maybe perhaps a bit like that 15, 16, 16, 17 period. You've been part of a championship promotion squad before. So with where Rovers are at right now, and apologies if this is putting you on the spot, how far off do you think we are with where the squad is at with those players that have left?
I think it's not that you're far off with the players that have left. It's what the club can now do moving forward. You got the basis of, you got, obviously, talking about Beza before, 21, 22 years old, playing in the Copa America, fantastic form, got his confidence, his mojo. Armour, if he stays, guarantees you goals. Joe Rothwell, what a player, by the way.
Yeah.
He is the fastest thing on 2 legs in with a football at his feet. Then you got like I said before, Dara, like Nyambi. Wow. You know what I mean?
We need some agent Benno to get that contract signed if you can.
Yeah, I'll have to kick his. You have to kick his agent to the curb and get me there. I'll sort him out. I'll get Steve Wagner over a barrel. I'll have him signed up. Now, look, and I'll tell you one player we haven't mentioned. What a player as well. Thomas Kaminski.
Yeah.
Outstanding signing. I'm not going to say I heard of him before he came to Blackburn. Incredible. First season at the club. Lovely, lovely lad. Really likeable. Everyone loves him. And what a season. The club's got core of something that can definitely do well. It's how the club moves forward now. Like you said before, like likes myself, Corey's gone, Charlie's gone. So it's, not replacing us, but going and getting younger maybe, or experienced players, better players, and adding to what's already there rather than kind of ripping it all up and starting again. I think the club just needs to, add to what it's already got, add to the real youthfulness of the squad, and the hunger that's got within there, and the club will be just fine.
Yeah. And with what you've just said there, these are obviously unprecedented times with the pandemic and the impact on finances and people's lives. Rovers are obviously going through that transition, as we've just spoken about there. So all of the pressures that brings, it requires strong leadership of the club. So I do want to ask you about the owners. Now, you're not a Rovers employee. Maybe you are able to speak a bit more openly. Did you ever meet them? Have you ever met any of their representatives? What sort of presence or impact do they have in the club or on the players?
So I've never met the owners. Obviously, Sahil obviously comes into the club a lot. He's always before the pandemic, especially, was around the training ground a lot. And to be honest, I can't say anything bad towards them. They've they signed me in the first place. And I think, from the club that I joined, as I said before, I think the managers had a massive influence on, reconnecting the fans back to the football club. And I think the owners have kind of recognised that and gave the manager the kind of tools to try and take the club forward. Particularly from a player's point of view, everything's kind of better now. It sounds like silly little things, but the training ground, the chefs at the training ground, the kind of importance put on the analysts and getting your clips, and just, I think the club's now just in a place where it can move forward as opposed to maybe just being a bit stagnant and stale. I think the manager kind of brought a bit of enthusiasm to the owners again, and as I said before, that reconnection with the fans, I think's been a massive part of that. So yeah, look, I'd be honest if I had any other problem. Like I said, I've never met the owners, and I can't say anything bad or apart from what they've done for all the players in the training ground and stuff. I can't say anything but good things, really.
Absolutely. So that's the end of my questions. I'll do one more final dip into the viewers' comments, Benno, and then we'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your night. So this is a really nice one from Alexander, just for you to just kind of sum it up, I guess, at the end. How would you describe your time with Rovers, Benno? And what is your prediction for Rovers next season?
I had an incredible journey. As I said before, I've loved every single minute of it, even in the the times when I weren't playing. I love being at the club. I love what the club stands for. I think the badge, the slogan on the badge is massive. The manager, as soon as he come in, he kind of honed in on the artists and soldiers kind of thing, and I just love being part of the football club. I've loved representing all you fans. It's been an honour to wear your football club's badge, and that's what it is. It's the fans' football club. I love the working class side of it. It's a proper football club. That's what it is. It's got a proper ground, a proper old ground. It's not got one of these new shiny things that's got no history or memories or meaning behind it. It's a real kind of pillar of the community, and I've loved every moment of representing the football club. I've had some really, really good times, and I've had some not so good times, but I wouldn't change any of it for anything, because I've had, I've got to meet some fantastic people, interact with some amazing fans, and I've made some friends that that I'll have for the rest of my life. I hope, if they want to still speak to me.
Another question here from Rosina: which player is one to watch this upcoming season at Rovers?
Other than the obvious, you got like Joe Rothwell and that. Obviously, everyone knows about Rothwell. Aside from the obvious, I would go with Joe Rankin Costello.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit about him and what you've seen of him.
Really good player, technically very good. works his socks off. And on top of that, he is a winner. He hates losing. Training, games, for a young player to be so, he's quite vocal, which is quite unusual, really. Demands from older players. He expects better, and I think Joe will have a big part to play this season.
And just before I do the final question, I just want Jared, who is one of our regular viewers here. So, Benno, you've moved into a management role for him on Football Manager. Good fortune for you.
How am I getting on? That's the only thing I need to know. If I'm not doing well, I'm not interested.
So, Jared, let us know. Is that at Rovers or someone else? Let us know before we finish this stream off. So, the other one I just want to, just an interesting one, because you might not have seen him much, but what's your thoughts on Rovers signing Harry Pickering? I think you met him, didn't you, at the training ground? But
days training. No, really, really nice boy. Young, humble. Ready to kick on in his career. Kind of been at a Crew a long time, come up that way, and he's hungry. He wants to do well, and another really, really good, young signing for the football club that I'm sure will go on to do really well. For the team and moving forward.
Brilliant. And then there's just one little quick one here, Benno. Dan Clark, what's your favourite fan chant that you've heard at Rovers?
Oh, hey, oh, we got Richie Smallwood. Love that one.
That was a good one. And that just came out of nowhere as well.
Oh,
literally.
That one. Where was it really good? Was it Fleetwood away?
When he scored?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
Really good.
Love that. Even all the boys love that one. That was one we sung that a lot.
There we go. Richie Smallwood. Love that. What a way to finish a stream. And Jared said you're in the Premier League with him at Rovers.
Ooh.
There we go.
Hey, there you go. That's the answer to my question. Management.
That's it. If Jared's FM game is anything to go by. But I'm just going to bring up a few of these comments we've had. So, Mark, thanks for everything, Benno, and good luck at Shrewsbury. Paul Fox, well done, Elliott. True professional and role model. All the best for the next chapter and look back with pride. Arte Lepore. John Buckley. What a guy.
Go on, Bucko.
There he is. FM Works. Love Benno and wish him the best of luck. Quality player. Chris, yourself, Bucko and Tyrese were brilliant for me when times were hard. So I just want to say a massive thank you. Chris has been really open about his mental health, Benno. So I know that comes from the bottom of Chris's heart there.
No, thank you very much, Chris. And I hope you're doing well.
And then... here we go. Eileen, we will miss you, Elliott. Robert, love you, Benno.
Ooh.
There we go. Absolute lovely sentiments from the Rovers fans there.
Lovely.
So, Benno, I just want to finish off, just by saying thank you for the years of service that you gave to Rovers. You did join us at a really difficult time. And as a fan, it was difficult for me as well to just hang in there. But you helped us all reconnect with the club with that fist pump as well. And I know that you've taken some stick on Twitter and didn't play as much last season, but I know that the majority of the Rovers fan base is really grateful for the way that you played the game for us. No one could ever question your commitment, that's for sure. So we just want to wish you the very best of luck at Shrewsbury Town next season. I think that is a brilliant move for you and for them. And it's just a shame, as I say, that we've not been able to applaud you off that pitch at Ewood Park in your final appearance. So thank you, Benno.
FA Cup third round, Ewood Park.
Oh, someone did say that in the comments earlier. So maybe it's written in the start.
I'd like that a lot. That'd be good.
There we go. Here's some more. Rob, they're piling in now, so I'm just going to click a few so that you can see them, Benno, because I know you've left a big impact on the fans. Just click through these. Quality player, but a better human. Thanks for the memories. Go and smash it. That's a nice way of putting that, Dan. Better human is a really nice way of putting that. There we go. So that's it.
Cool.
Thank you, Benno. So Rovers fans, that is it. Thank you to Benno for joining us tonight and for all of you for interacting with us this evening. It's been a really busy stream. Loads and loads of comments. You've really helped me along with Benno tonight. So that is, I'm really grateful for everyone doing that. I do just want to do a big reminder, though, if I get my ass into gear here, our big summer stream, the big quiz that we've got. I did double check with Benno before he came on. Those signed Elliott Bennett boots are still available on the big summer stream. July the 27th, 7 p.m. You'll be able to win those signed Elliott Bennett boots as part of that. So look out for that. We have so far raised £242. Let me get rid of this banner. There we go. £242. And you can donate to Sporting Minds UK at www.rcdonate.com. But yeah, look out for the further details on the Rovers Chat Twitter account for when that is going to go live. That's obviously in aid of our chosen charity for next season, Sporting Minds UK. We will leave the stream there. Enjoy the rest of Euro 2020, everyone. And for those of you watching our man Brereton Diaz, enjoy the Copa America. Benno, if you can hang on the line after I finish this live stream, we'll sort out those boots. But for everyone else, I'm going to leave everyone with the sponsor messages from Blue Rose Capital and from our sponsors, 6yardsout.com. See you later, everyone. The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.